Hey guys, it's reading update time again, but first off, really quickly, I just wanted to mention that last week I posted a video and I asked you guys to leave me some questions, and first of all, thank you guys to everybody who's responded so far. I've gotten some really awesome questions. I plan on leaving the video open until the end of the week, so if anybody's watching this right now and you want to ask me anything, the link to that video is in the drop down box, so go over there, leave me a comment, ask me some questions. So yeah, now getting on to the actual update part of this video. It's been 10 days since my last update and I managed to read 4 books and 1 novella in that time. The first book I read was Such Wicked Intent by Kenneth Opel. This was the second book in the Apprenticeship of Victor Frankenstein series. If you watched my last reading update video, you might remember that I was absolutely gushing over the first book, which was called This Dark Endeavor. Unfortunately, if I was to mention just about anything regarding the plot of Such Wicked Intent, I would pretty much give away the ending of the first book, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what I thought of the second book. Unfortunately, it didn't quite live up to my expectations. Granted, my expectations were really insanely high considering how much I loved This Dark Endeavor. I kind of felt like, whereas the first book was really gothic and creepy, this one sort of fell into the more gross out horror type of thing, and I like horror books, I have nothing against them, it's just I kind of missed the feel of the first book. Some of the things that they do, some of their adventures are kind of a little over the top. Victor was a cocky bastard in the first book, but in this book, in Such Wicked Intent, my god, the level of assholery kind of ratcheted up a little bit. So overall I ended up giving it 3 stars on Goodreads, which is still a decent rating, but far short of the 5 stars I gave the first book. So, but having said that, I still recommend the series to anybody who likes dark, historical type fiction, because overall it's still a great series. The next book I read was Easy by Tamara Weber. And this is a contemporary YA, definitely on the mature level of YA. And this book is about a girl named Jacqueline who's in college, and one night she's leaving a party and she is almost raped by one of her ex-boyfriend's friends, and she ends up being rescued by this mysterious fellow college student named Lucas. So as a rule, and I've said this a million times in my videos, I don't normally like contemporary romances of any kind, but there are exceptions, and this was definitely an exception to that rule. I found myself while I was reading this book continually saying to myself, why have you never read anything by this woman before? Because she is a phenomenal author. She manages, and this book was not very long, I read it in less than a day, but she manages to pack so much emotion, so much just feeling into this book. It was just incredible. I loved the characters. Jacqueline was this insanely strong female character, which I love. There's far too many weak female characters in books lately, but she was not. She would not allow herself to become a victim. She was strong and she was kick-ass. And then there's Lucas. I have to say, I absolutely love the character of Lucas. And you know, I pretty much have had the same top 5 male characters in fiction for a long time. They pretty much stay in my top 5. Blake from Poughkeepsie, Will Herondale from The Infernal Devices, R from Warm Bodies, Sam from The Wolves of Mercy Falls, and Jace from Mortal Instruments. That's been my top 5 forever. Somebody's getting kicked off because Lucas is now in that list. And just the amount of caring and compassion that he shows to Jacqueline, he enables her to be the strong character that she is. They just like feed off each other. The characters you know, when they're together, they make the other character stronger, if that makes any sense. They're a power couple to be reckoned with, and it was just awesome. The book was awesome, and I loved every second of it. And yeah, as if you can't guess, I gave it 5 big stars on Goodreads, so definitely recommend it if you haven't already. It's just a great book. The next book I read was Beautiful Disaster by Jamie Maguire. So this lovely piece of literature is about a guy named Travis, who's a underground fighter slash college student slash secret genius, who meets this girl named Anna, and they have a bet going between them. If he loses the fight, he has to go without sex for a month, and if she loses the bet and he wins the fight, she has to move in with him for a month, which kind of really doesn't make that much sense, because at the time they made the bet, she was already staying at his apartment because the pipes froze in her dorm. But whatever. Yeah, this book was recommended to me by a lot of people, and it's getting a lot of buzz. People are calling it the 50 Shades of Grey for the teenage set. I hated this book with a passion. I only made it to exactly 46% into the book, and it took a lot to get that far. I kept waiting for it to get better. But yeah, I couldn't take it anymore. Every single character in this book calls the other characters by these pet names. Nobody can call someone by their full name. That is the height of laziness, in my opinion. Travis calls Anna. His little pet romantic nickname for her is Pigeon. Pigeon. Okay? Granted, like I said, I only made it about halfway through. Maybe they explained later in the book why he calls her Pigeon, but still, it would have to be a damn good reason, because I thought it was just lame. Yeah, there's a lot of characters. None of them are very well done. Travis is a pretentious asshat. Anna is one of those wishy-washy, weak, whiny female characters I just mentioned, in contrast to Jacqueline and Easy. Yeah, so 1 star. Moving on. The next book I read was Obsidian, and it was by Jennifer L. Armentrout. One of these days I'm going to read a book by Jane Smith, and it's going to be the happiest day of my life. Okay, so Obsidian. This is a paranormal book. Paranormal romance, YA. And it is about a girl named, what was her name? Oh, Kat. She's a book blogger. Yeah, one of the best parts of the book was that she was a book blogger. She moves next door to these 2 twins, Dee and Damon. She becomes really good friends with Dee. Damon, on the other hand, hates her on sight, doesn't want her to be friends with his sister, and Kat, you know, just doesn't understand why he hates her so much. And it turns out the reason that he hates her is that Damon and Dee are aliens, and he feels like if Kat is friends with his sister, she's going to expose them. And yeah, I tried to read this book a few months ago, couldn't get into it, put it down, ended up going back to it last week, and I have to say, I am glad I did, because I really ended up enjoying it. I gave it 3 stars. No, I gave it 4 stars. Actually, my rating, like in my blog, was 3.5 stars, but I rounded up on Goodreads. I have to say, though, I didn't love it the way some people love this book, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I wasn't really feeling the Damon love that a lot of people were. I'm all for bad boys in books, but some of the things that he did and said to Kat were just plain mean, and there's a difference between being a bad boy and just being an asshole, and he crossed the line into assholery several times in this book. Yeah, so I mean, I enjoyed it. I probably will read the other books in the series at some point. I just didn't freak out about it like other people have. And finally, the novella that I read was Bleed for Me by Cynthia Eden. This is a paranormal romance, and despite the incredibly cheesy name, I actually really, really liked this book. I think I was just in the right frame of mind for a paranormal romance. mixes two of my favorite subject matters into one story: mythological gods and vampires. It is about the sun god Apollo falling in love with a newly turned vampire. It totally rocked my socks off. This was the first book that I ever read by Cynthia Eden. Definitely will not be the last. She is a great, great author. The story was great. It's not rocket science or brain surgery. These books are, purely for entertainment. There's nothing, no cure for cancer here, people. It's just, you read these books to be entertained, and I definitely was entertained. Yeah, so that's all I read this past week and a half. Currently, I am actually reading another book by Cynthia Eden. It's called Eternal Hunter, and it's the first book in her Night Watch series. And, what else am I reading? Oh, I finally started Son of Neptune by Rick Riordan in preparation for Mark of Athena, which comes out next month, which I'm excited about. But yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. Yeah, so again, to reiterate, if you guys have any questions at all for me, go to my other video that's in the drop down box and leave them for me in the comment section, and yeah, I look forward to answering them. I think I'm going to have a good time making that video. Probably it's going to be in a couple different parts. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. As always, leave me some love. If you have any requests for me to do reviews for any of the books that I talked about today or in past videos, let me know and I'll see what I can do. Until next time, happy reading, you guys. Thanks for watching.